that I was going also to speak about in my presentation. So, firstly, I would like to that almost all of you in your presentation spoke about the challenges that women normally face when they're working in this field of human rights defense. So notwithstanding the fact whether it's in the pillar of peace building or it's just normal human rights protection. So the challenges are always the same. This is the patriarchal mentality that, you know, Armenia and most countries of our region are totally patriarchal in their structure, and the role of women, you know, it's seen only as a role of mother, being in the kitchen, preparing and being assistant to men rather than being an individual herself. So the second are also coming out maybe all from this patriarchal mentality. It's the existing stereotypes. And one important thing that I would like to speak about more in detail, that is this private and public discourse differentiation, because it's really very important also concerning the peace building in particular. This public, women are seen mostly as a private part of men's private life, and the thing that they are going out to public, this is somehow felt as a threat to the men's already private life, on their security, and threat to the existing norms. So this public and private discourse is really very important in the work of peace building, because peace is also considered something to be very private and connected very much, linked very much to the security issue. For example, when you are working, all of you that are working on the peace in your regions, you know that whenever you're starting to say something about peace, they say, no, we should be, it's a very private issue, which should be very closed. We should not negotiate. We should always be armed, because the only way to peace is through armed, well, because, you know, you should win, then go to peace. No other way to peace, we know. So it's also the same thing. Women and also the peace are very fragile issues, and they are connected to be in the private sector, so they don't need to be publicly open. So this discourse is very important. And the level of trust towards NGOs particularly, because, you know, we have also, of course, in our countries, individual women human rights defenders, but most of them are part of public sector, so a non-formal sector, and the trust in the societies towards NGOs is really very low, at least in Armenia that I'm representing, because, you know, there is also the discourse that these Western morals, Western values are coming to destroy us, and as NGOs are mainly being financed from outside, this is also bringing forward new issues of the trust towards NGOs as well. So we have also the state policy as a challenge, the legislation, that sometimes we do have the legislation which is really on place, but it's only on paper and it's not being implemented. But sometimes we really do have also legs in legislation as well. And we need sort of state responsibility to also enact in the legislation procedure. So we have conducted a survey which was dating back in this date, and we have, it's Keep Me Away From Your Stereotypes is the title, and women are perceived as weak, emotional, gossiping, talkative, tender, adoptive, and caring. And you can see that the perception of women in a society, if it's going around these adjectives, you can't suspect that the society will be willing to accept women as key actors, agents in peace building process in general. So the next one. We're always facing this blaming and shaming practice. It's like they always blame us for being not traditional, for having morals that differ from Armenian national morals, that we are carriers of these Western bad morals, and whatever we do does not correspond to the core Armenian values. And we have organized geopolitical anti-gender propaganda. And I will also in next slide speak about the beginning of this anti-gender movement in Armenia, because it's really in the core connected with these all hate speech and everything that goes on, all connected with the peace building movement as well. And the hate speech, of course, and attacks also. Next slide, please. And where is the, maybe?
Next.
Okay. So how it started? It started all after the Ensuring Equal Rights and Opportunities for Men and Women. This is the law that was adopted back on 2013 on May 20. But it rose no public resonance at that time because there was no political need for that, and people normally average people are not aware what laws are being adopted or wherever. So, but afterwards, when the change of geopolitical situation occurred, and there was the need to have a public agenda and public hysteria on this issue in the beginning of 2014, in the beginning. So they made it the way that people started to speak about all these Western values and about the law, that it's a very bad one because it promotes, it's sort of gay propaganda, and it promotes values that are not inherent to Armenian ones. So we have in society formed groups that are called Pan-Armenian Parents Committee or Parental Committee, and No to Gender Equality Law. This is huge. These two are huge groups, anti-gender groups that have really huge amount of followers in Facebook, and not only in Facebook. They are organizing events on the streets, and they are attacking people, and they are using hate speech and this blaming and shaming policy that I already spoke about. So you can see I have examples about different events. Yeah, this is Women Resource Center's case when they were also attacked, and there was even a case on the court. And the person who was attacking them and promoting hate speech towards Women Resource Center was one of the representatives of state national party. So it speaks also about the responsibility of state not letting his representatives speaking and promoting hate speech in Armenia. So this is the roundtable that by our organization that we had on gender component integration into the high school curriculum, and the same thing. They came, they attacked because we were bringing immoral values to our families and to the gender education stuff. And this is one more attack about Women's Support Center. Berchu is representing the organization. So they, on domestic violence cases, we also have the former president. We also have a former president candidate, and he was there, and he was saying that domestic violence is not an issue in Armenia, and he also sometimes slaps his wife, and it's okay. His wife is not turning to court, so there is no need to make a very huge noise out of this trifle. So it's normal for the families. And this is one of the posters that they came to our event. It says No to Anti-Family Propaganda. They came to the event organized by our organization with this poster. So the cases are, of course, very much, and how state reacts to these cases of violence and hate speech, it's really amazing. They don't react. But sometimes, if it were only non-reaction, it would be at least okay. But they also sometimes promote this, which is really very sad. And the fact is that we got only some international response from our partners organization, from donor organization, and from the organizations that we are working with. Also from the international workings and based in Yerevan, Armenia. They had statements saying that supporting the NGOs working in the peace building, saying that all the hate speech and whatever, it's not right, but the state doesn't do anything at all. So finally, I would like to bring the example of the typical peace initiative by women human rights defenders in Armenia that was initiated by I guess all of you would know that there was some tense situation between Armenia and Azerbaijan on the border in August, and in this in August, and so Armenian women human rights defenders decided. Armenian human rights defenders decided to have a march, which was called a peace walk. So we had posters that were saying that we need peace only, we don't need war, and we urged the parliament and the state officials of both Armenia and Azerbaijan to take the only peaceful measures to solve this conflict. That we had posters saying that only nations never need war, it's only politics, it's whatever, so we were only having peace walk. And the reaction that rose this peace walk in Armenia, it was really very, very harsh. And because people were saying that we are betrayers, because in a situation which is very conflicted now, when everybody was speaking about going and killing each other because it's so tense, because we are losing our soldiers, and wherever some women stood there and spoke only about peace, saying that we don't need armed from both sides, so we need peace. But the reaction really was, even after this event, it was continuous attacks that what are you doing? You speak about the peace in this time when our soldiers are dying. You know it's not the only situation from our side, so you know better how it was. So I wanted to end up with this peace walk, saying that maybe this initiative would last and we will have peace.